Hello everyone. So today we're going to be talking about Eternals, the movie with a broken plot. And maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comments down below. But I saw this and I thought that why wasn't everyone else talking about this? So I thought maybe I should like make a video talking about it. I was going to review it anyway, so I thought maybe I should talk about the broken plot point that I figured out. Maybe I'm just late to catching up to it because this is like the first time that I'm watching this movie since it came out. Because for some time I think I stopped watching Marvel content altogether after I watched Loki, because the first three seasons of Marvel that I watched, they were really bad. So I just kind of stopped watching Marvel movies altogether because I just thought that I was going to waste my time. So I stopped watching or consuming any Marvel content. So now that I'm actually reviewing movies, I thought maybe I can torture myself by watching these movies for you guys. So maybe you guys can like this video to appreciate my suffering that I have to endure watching these movies. So before I start explaining about the broken plot point, I need to explain how Celestials are born and why Eternals are in this movie, what this movie is about, what the core of this movie is actually is. So in this movie there's a Celestial named Arsham. So he takes a seed and he puts it into the planet, and so that a celestial can be born in that planet. But a celestial can only be born on that planet if there is intelligent life on it. So the celestial can sort of absorb the life energy of the intelligent people, and I heavily quote the word intelligent people of planet Earth. So in this process called emergence, the celestial sort of destroys the entire planet when he's being born. Almost like when a chicken hatches from the egg, it destroys the egg. That's what a celestial does. It's going to destroy the entire planet when he's born. So for this process to go smoothly, Arsham made deviants. And why did he make deviants? Because on every planet there were going to be some kind of predators that were going to hunt the intelligent life, and to protect that intelligent life, Arsham made these demons. Basically these demons are called deviants, so that these deviants could go and kill all these predators, so that the intelligent lives or these native peoples could have a chance for thriving. The population could grow as quickly as possible. But the deviants had a flaw in them, and they sort of evolved, and then after evolving they became kind of predators themselves, and they started hunting the intelligent life. And to combat this, Arsha made Eternals, so that Eternals could go and kill the deviants, and the Eternals themselves were made in a way so that they could not evolve, age, or sort of stay the same way. They're kind of like robots. They will not age or anything. They will stay stagnant for quite a long amount of time. The job of the Eternals is to go and hunt down these predators so that the native intelligent population of that planet can grow as much as possible. So now that we've sort of established how the Celestials are born, I want to get into why this whole thing doesn't really work. And if I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comments down below, but I think it was kind of dumb for this whole thing to happen the way it did in the movie. So what I really don't understand is, did Arsham send the deviants to every new planet where he put the celestial seed into, or did the deviants travel to that planet themselves? Because if Arsham put the deviants into every single new planet where he put the celestial seed in, that would actually be really dumb, because the entire purpose of the deviants is that after they have eliminated the predators of that planet, they sort of become the predators themselves and start eliminating the intelligent life. What I don't understand is that why did Arsham send deviants in the first place? Why send deviants to destroy and wreak havoc, and then send Eternals to do the damage control? Why not just send Eternals so that they could kill the predators, the apex predators of that planet themselves? That would be so much easier. Like, you don't even have to think about the deviants anymore, because they're probably dead and gone and extinct. It's been like millions of years. Like, they could have been extinct by now. So where are these deviants even coming from? So this alone kind of sort of breaks the entire logic of the movie right here. But maybe I could be wrong. You guys can let me know in the comments down below if I got something wrong or not. And now that we've sort of talked about the main problem of this movie, I want to sort of move on to the other smaller problems of this movie. And the other sort of small slash not small slash really big problem of this movie was Ajak, the Prime Eternal. What I don't understand is that she's lived for millions of years and she's destroyed thousands upon thousands of planets for Arsham. So why did she this time decide that Earth was worth saving? I don't really understand why she thought the Earth was special. What makes Earth special? Because this movie really failed to answer this question: why is Earth special? Why should it be saved? Because every time the answer came, it was kind of really vague. Like, I've met the people of this planet, they are cultured, they are great, but seriously, that just really doesn't answer the question. Because what I want to know is a solid reason. Then they are special. I need something solid, not vague. All the other Eternals thought that they should stop the emergence, and I can understand because they spent a lot of time and they have built their lives on the planet of Earth, and they have their memories erased every single time they go to a new planet. But the problem is Ajak. Why did she specifically thought that the Earth was worth saving? Why did she think that it was special? Out of the countless planets that she's destroyed on Arasham's will, why did she think that Earth was worth saving? And I'm not trying to be a pessimistic here. I just need a good reason. Like, give me a good reason so I can get invested in the movie. Because this movie didn't give a solid reason. I think among all the Eternals, Fastos kind of had a solid reason for trying to save the people of planet Earth, because he sort of had a family and he had a child. So I kind of understand why he would want to save Earth out of most people. And now I want to talk about Crow. You probably don't even know who Crow is, because I just googled his name and his name is Crow. And who is Crow? He's the big all alpha prime deviant guy. He is the guy who absorbed Gilgamesh and Ajak, and I think he was really unnecessary in this movie. I think you could have just made deviants mindless monsters and just get away with it, because by making him one of the primary threats, at least in the beginning of the movie, you kind of set him up as a big threat, but he was like nothing. Like, you could have made this entire movie and removed him as this movie is right now, and nothing would change. Just have normal mindless deviants try to destroy the Eternals, and I think that should have been fine. Because I almost laughed when when Crow showed up for the last battle, when Icarus and the rest of the Eternals were fighting amongst themselves. I almost laughed because they were fighting. It was a really serious scene, and Crow just sort of got in there. Like, he was so uninvited and unneeded in that moment that it was like, yeah, that was really bad. Like, dude, at this point you are of no consequence. The entire planet is about to be destroyed and you're sitting there wanting your own silly revenge. Like, your problem and your threat is of no consequence anymore. So I think this movie could have been more focused by focusing on the celestial being born part, and less emphasis on the Crow part of the movie. And I was also thinking, like, what makes him so special? Why could he sort of absorb the powers of Eternals and not the other deviants? What makes him so special? It's like these weird things that this movie does and sort of expects the audience to understand without any given reason. It's like, here it is, believe it, and you just have, there's no reason for believing it, but you just have to believe it because we are doing it. So after all that said and done, do I recommend this movie to anyone? I mean, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I think you probably didn't expect me to say that, because after all the things that I just said, but hell no. Like, this movie is really good, and because I stopped watching Marvel content for a while, I regret that I didn't watch this movie, because this movie is actually really good. You can tell that a lot of love was poured into this movie. This movie had really great story, even though that story had a lot of holes into it. Just the way the story was told, and every single character was fleshed out, it was really nice. Every single character, you felt like you connected with every single character. This movie introduced 10 different characters, and not one of them felt like they were less off than the other character. Every single character felt important to the story. And the character in this movie almost felt like they were from Justice League. Like, Icarus is basically Superman, and there was another character who could run really fast, so that was really interesting as well. And I really love the CGI of this movie. Basically, the visuals of this movie are really good, and I really love how they use the Art Deco designs and implement it on their weapons and the costumes of the Eternals. And there are some really beautiful shots in this movie, like when the Eternal was being born and its hand sticking out of the ocean. That looked visually really beautiful. Basically, this movie is simply visually a joy to look at. And seeing Icarus flying around and using his laser beams from eyes is like seeing Superman. And every time I see a character like Superman, whether it be Black Adam or any other character like Superman put into big screen, I just love that because I think I'm really starved for a really good Superman movie, and DC is like really not making a Superman movie. So every time I see a character like Superman on big screen, I just lose it because they really did a lot of good things with Icarus in this movie. The CGI is great when he's flying around, when he's fighting while he's flying around. It's really done well. And there are some more minor things that this movie suffers from, and those are the usual Marvel humor. There was a particular scene that I remember from this movie is when Kingo and Druid were talking, and Kingo said, "Are you a god?" And I thought like, whoa, this conversation is getting real. And this could have explored the character of Druid really well, because we never really got an answer whether he had a cult in the middle of an Amazon forest, or what was he doing. Was he controlling these people against their will? Because that conversation could have gotten us a seriously good moment, and could have told us about the character's motivations, and it told us more about the Druid's character, which I was really interested in knowing, because he had a cult in the middle of forest. Like, what was he doing? Did he had these people against their will or something? But they just ruined that scene with Kingo saying that he made some content and Druid asked him how many views he gets, and that sort of really ruined the entire atmosphere of the scene. And of course, like every Marvel movie, there's also supposed to be some post-credit scenes, and in one of the post-credit scenes we got Harry Styles, and it was really bad. Harry Styles is supposed to be Eros, and we were told in the movie that that Harry Styles is the brother of Thanos, which I really don't understand, because I always thought that Thanos was a Titan because he's from Titan and he should be called a Titan. But when Harry Styles came, when Eros came, he said that he's an Eternal, and he said the other Eternals as fellow Eternals. So I don't get if Thanos was a Titan or was he an Eternal. So maybe Eros and Thanos are sort of step brothers or something. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we will get to know in some future Marvel movie, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm not curious to know. I couldn't care less what their relationship is. I just didn't like Harry Styles. And they also added another stupid Marvel humor scene where he was bickering with his butler or something, which is like, you have such a short amount of time to introduce a new character, and in that tiny few seconds you added another Marvel humor scene, which I absolutely hated. So yeah, I think this is the end of this video, and the conclusion is that this movie is definitely worth watching if you like the previous Marvel movies in the phase 1, 2 and 3. This is definitely going to be a great watch, and definitely different from anything that came out before. And I could tell that this movie was made from a place of love, and people definitely spent a lot of time on this movie. If you haven't watched this movie, I definitely recommend it, and it is definitely a good watch. When I watched this movie, even though this movie is supposed to be very long, I didn't know where time went. I was so immersed in the story. I just time just flew by. It's just I liked it that much. If you're willing to ignore the overall plot holes, you will definitely enjoy this movie. And if you've already watched this movie, which there is a good chance that you already have watched this movie because this movie came out last year, let me know in the comments down below what you liked about this movie, what you didn't like about this movie, and I'll see you in the next time. Bye.